What's poppin', y'all? Man down, or should I say Migo down, because Quavo, not only have we not seen a reply from Quavo after that diss track that Chris Brown dropped, which was some heat, but we are seeing some bad PR for Quavo lately. Now, granted, I did say Quavo's best bet is probably not to respond and just cool out, and everyone would forget it, right? Best way to hide a story is to cover it with a bigger story. Everyone forgets about the main story initially. Now, what happened, though, is another story came out that was bigger than the initial story of just the diss, and it makes Quavo look even worse. And that is the empty show. So this started off as a rumor that Chris Brown bought all the front row tickets to Quavo's recent show, and everyone was saying, yeah, man, so he gave Quavo the bag? It's just like, okay. But we come to find out that this was initially a show that a college did for their students. It was supposed to be a free show for the students, and barely anyone showed up for Quavo. So free show, people not showing up. And then on top of that, so little people were going to show up from the school that sources close, they were telling me that they go to this school, that the public was allowed to come. And even with public open free access to this show, what you're seeing right here is how many people showed up. This guy, I think, if I were to count in the crowd, I'd say Quavo went 10 times Smokepurpp here. So we would say like he went diamond Smokepurpp. So judge that how you will, because Smokepurpp had about like 8 people at his concert. So this looks like about 80 people, maybe 100 max. For Quavo, for a free show, at least people had to pay like $20 to go to the Smokepurpp concert. These people went for free. I think there would have been more people at a free Smokepurpp concert. Not more than free Quavo, but yeah, this is bad. And there will always be cope. People say, man, he still got the bag though. Yeah, he got the bag. But how does this look in the future? Because think about it like this, and I don't know if festivals think like this. If you're a festival and Quavo says, well, my fee to perform is $100K, right? Let's say Quavo got his fee here. If you're scheduling a festival and you're looking for a lineup and you see this, right? A free 99 show. Quavo pulled this many people. Are you going to be willing to pay him the amount that he's requesting, or are you going to say, hey, buddy, for free, you pulled out 25 people. Not 25, it's like closer to 100, but a pitiful amount of people. And you're charging us this? Either you're going to take this disgustingly low amount, or we're just not going to bring you because you're not really going to bring too many tickets by being on this lineup. Same thing goes for his future bookings. So no, it's not, he secured the bag. When you get a look like this, it's bad for your future bags. Because I remember when Roddy Ricch had fell off, and he didn't notice it yet. He was saying, how'd I fell off? I just got $500K to go to a show. And people were like, nobody's paying you $500K for a festival. And he posted the proof. I think it was Rolling Loud, New York. I don't think it was a good idea for him to post that much, because other people would probably pay him less after. We don't know his numbers. Respect to him for actually putting it out there. Although I think he kind of got baited into doing that. You just can't win against the internet in that scenario. You just have to back off and let them call cap. But with this, Quavo needs to do something, man, because we know for a fact, if there's a free Chris Brown show, it's packed. If Chris Brown sold tickets, it would be packed. This guy's selling like $5,000 meet and greet tickets. Or was it like $1,000 to take a picture with Chris Brown? I don't know. However much he was charging. And people were paying for that. And I'm not making fun of the people that paid for that at all. I don't like people that do that. It's like a once-in-a-lifetime thing. They want to take a picture with Chris Brown. It's worth it to them. And the money's not significant enough to them for it to matter. So why would you put your standards on somebody else? I don't like that. Now, if people are doing other things, which I can't think of off the top of my head, then I might judge it a little. So Quavo, I think he just has to hold this L. That's really it. How do you come back from this? And Chris Brown, he gave him some grace, because if it was Rick Ross, if it was 50 Cent, they would be clowning Quavo for this type of show out. And initially, I thought, hey, maybe the show just didn't pack out. Like it was early and people took a screenshot, or not a screenshot. People took a photo and it was early, so they were trying to make Quavo look a certain way. But seeing everyone so close to the stage makes me think like, oh, this is not early. This is actually how many people showed up, which is sad. And then that begs the question, talking about Migo down, would this happen to Offset? I don't know. What do you think? I don't think this would happen to Offset. I think he'd have a decent amount of people showing up. We know this wouldn't happen to Chris Brown. We got to see this beef continue to develop, because a bunch of people were saying Quavo's album is good. So I put that on my list to listen to. This most recent album he did, that was kind of like a tribute to Rocket. I said Rocket Power in my head. a tribute to Takeoff. I don't know why I said Rocket. Was Takeoff's album named Rocket? I remember the album, but I don't remember the album name. It's escaping me off of the top of my head right now. Hey, I'm not no encyclopedia. No Encyclopedia Britannica here. Just remember what's necessary. So overall, right now, Chris Brown said he smashed Saweetie while she was with Quavo, and Quavo didn't respond and deny that. So we don't know if that's true or not. Saweetie, I don't even think she denied it. She just posted that Quavo was DMing her in January, which has nothing to do with anything. It's just like a flex for her to just insert herself. So Quavo's even more embarrassed from that front. Quavo didn't respond to the diss track, which I don't expect him to. The guy cannot rap. Definitely can't out-rap Chris Brown. And we're not trying to hear him drop some melodies on a track for Chris Brown either. You can't out-sing Chris Brown. What, are you going to try to diss somebody like, oh, this guy's popping cameras, he's beating on women, which he did in the first track. Was that Tender? I think that might have been Tender. Yeah, what is he going to talk about, Karrueche? Ugh. Maybe Karrueche could even pull more people than... Maybe Karrueche could pull more people than Quavo did right here. I don't know how Karrueche's looking at this. Like, ooh, after... I mean, with the level of fame that she's at, looking at Quavo pull this many people, somebody that's supposed to be lit, it's not looking too hot. It's kind of sad that the Migos were taken from us. We did get their greatest years. Culture One, man, just I have such vivid, beautiful memories of that album coming out. Just hit after hit. Culture 2 was a crazy moment. I didn't like Culture 2, if you guys remember. We're going to go on a little bit. This isn't a tangent. This is related, but we're pretty much done with the main topic. So if you don't like to hear me talk outside of the main topic, I urge you to leave, and I'm going to slam the door behind you because it's really disrespectful. You need to sit here and listen to me talk about, it could be nonsense until I'm done. That's really all there is to it. What better do you have to do? Come on now. And then I also want you to be in the comments after this. Do you guys think Culture 2 is better than Culture 1? That's the conversation I wanted to have. I didn't like Culture 2. I really didn't like Walk It Like I Talk It. There are some massive hit songs that people seem to be surprised that I don't like. For instance, Way Too Sexy, that thing was garbage to me. It was a disgustingly bad song. I did not enjoy it at all. They played it in every club, and when I would hear it, it's almost like for example, they'll play Cardi B. I don't particularly like, right? But if they're playing Cardi B at a club, it's like, okay, this song is bumping. But they played Way Too Sexy. I was like, oh, I can't even pretend that I'm enjoying this. And it's just the sound. I don't like the sound. I don't like the hook. I don't like the bars. I don't like anything about it. Walk It Like I Talk It, it was just so repetitive. I didn't like that about it, but people love that song. But Culture 2, I would say, as an era, was probably Migos' peak. As an era overall, like what they were doing, the moves that they were making, how visible they were. Really legendary era. I would say the Culture 2 era was better than the Culture 1 era, but the music that came out from Culture 1 was beautiful, because if you guys remember, Culture 1 isn't even their first album. Their first album was YRN, and that sold like 16K first week or 15K first week. So people were talking about, yo, Migos fell off. Are these guys out? Or that was their first album. Yo, these are some low sales for the Migos. They were doing Young Thug numbers at the time, which Young Thug numbers meant an embarrassment back in the day. And I'm saying back in the day, like, yeah, this is back in the day. This is 10 years ago, like 2015. And they had label issues. So when they came back with Culture 1, and they came back with a #1 hit, of course, with the song that Lil Uzi Vert was on, Raindrop, Drop Top. They come back with a #1, then they sell 100K plus first week, and then the whole album is great. They were just out of here. And those are some historic moments that also put, I wouldn't say it put Ruby Rose on, but it took Ruby Rose to another level of popularity. But yeah, I guess the main question for this is, we turned this into a Migos conversation towards the end, but hey, we started off with Migo down, so we had to talk about when Migo was up. 2 questions I'd say I'd pose. Do you think Culture 2 is better than Culture 1? That's the first question. And the second question is, what does Quavo do from here? Does he just keep it pushing? Does he try to reply? Does he try to keep the back and forth going? That's pretty much 2 questions I've got. Let me know in the comments. I may not reply to all of them, but I read... Okay, like for the past 2 videos, I've kind of been moving around a little bit, so I've read like 90% of the comments, 5%. Usually I'll read 100%, especially if you're commenting within the first 2-3 days. I'd say first 2 days, I'm 100% seeing your comment. I just don't reply to everybody. So yeah, I'm gonna be reading all of it. Don't think, oh man, I'm just gonna comment, he's not even gonna look at it. Nah, I'm looking at it. My eyes are gonna glaze over it. No homo, pause, no diddy, all of the above. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you for watching. Man, it's kind of like a little vibe recording. I miss this. I haven't had like this much fun in quite a while. Yeah, meanwhile, I'm just in a room talking to myself. Not even at home. Peace.